I have been holding out on talking about Pavlov for quite a while now. I've been playing Pavlov ever since I got VR, but I just haven't talked about it since I started talking about VR games on my channel. Main reason for that being is every time I want to mention something in VR, another certain VR YouTube channel also makes a video on it. And I kind of don't want to seem like I'm trying to leech off of the success of them. Just kidding, I love you, Happy. But I can't really hold off much longer because I've been playing an absurd amount of Pavlov recently, and I've just been having fun. I think Pavlov is the epitome of just fun VR. It's not overly complicated, it doesn't have a certain thing that makes it unique amongst the rest. It is almost the most basic of a VR shooter you can get. And I don't mean that to be mean, as I will try to elaborate later, that I think that's what makes it so good. I kind of consider it to be the Gary's mod of VR. It's so malleable and the community has done so much with it that it can almost fit every aspect in VR. It can almost become anything between player mods and maps. Pavlov is very simple. Gun shoot. When you run out, you put in new mag, pull back the charging handle, that's it. You can change firing modes, there's a couple basic add-ons you can put to your gun, but that's about it. It doesn't try to overcomplicate itself with weapon jamming or being extremely realistic. It just satisfies the needs of shooting a gun in VR. And that works because then that leaves the room for adding so many other things that just need shooting. If you were to get a game that tried to be more realistic or overcomplicated with the guns, giving you certain ammunition and different types of mags and having to keep certain mags on you for certain weapons, it wouldn't be able to fit all the aspects Pavlov currently has. Because Pavlov officially has quite a few game modes. You have your basically CSGO. You have what is probably the most notable and which blew up on YouTube for a while, but TTT in VR. And they've added a couple others, including The Hidden, which I think is just called The Hunter in Pavlov, but if you've played Gary's mod at all, it's just The Hidden. One invisible guy with melee, other people with guns, and guns have to shoot invisible guy. They've also added probably one of my favorite game modes ever, Push. And I'm actually going to save Push for later because I have a whole segment, a whole thing I want to say about that. But Pavlov's simplicity, keeping its weapons simple, has been able to allow this game to fit so many different aspects, like all these different game modes. Because both the developers and the community who want to make community maps or even community mods, there have been entire game modes. There's been Halo. Halo has been added in Pavlov VR. And while I find that very impressive, I don't exactly have the nostalgia factor, I've never played a Halo game, it's still really interesting to see that in VR. But Pavlov's simplicity has been able to let it capitalize on just the fun aspect of VR. And it's also not too simple where it's boring. Gunplay is fun. I've genuinely been really enjoying it. Playing the push game mode, a lot of it is in World War II, and I've gotten, I would say, fairly decent with a bolt-action rifle. Also, World War II, this game not only has quite a cool assortment of modern weapons, but a lot of World War II weapons, and a lot of people have been able to use that. World War II weapons are really good, and do not worry, the Garand does good. It's just fun, and that's what Pavlov capitalizes on. It doesn't try to be something that the VR industry lacks. It's just trying to be simple and fun and give control over whatever else the developers and the community want to do. And one thing the developers have done really well is the game modes. Each game mode is really fun. Obviously, TTT is fun. TTT is fun no matter what. If you've played any TTT in Gary's mod, it's exactly like that, but in VR. So it's fun. Hidden is also really good. It's genuinely actually kind of scary. But what is probably the most fun I've ever had is Push. Push is a game mode in Pavlov where you have an attacking side and you have a defending side. The attacking side has to blow up objectives and they win. It's basically defense. Any defense, capture and attack and defense game mode from any shooter you've seen. But where Push is really shining is in the maps. There are so many cool, both included and community-made maps for Push. It is amazing. The Normandy Beach map obviously hits the mark. It's Normandy Beach. It's cool. I love how there will be explosions and sounds of gunfire and other things that aren't from the players to give you a sense that there's more people in there. A lot of the other World War II maps are really good, and fighting with the World War II guns in this kind of game mode is really, really interesting. Kind of simulates war, which is a bit unnerving, especially with modern global situations. But the one thing that kind of is a bit iffy about Push is the maps. Each map has a different class setup, and some of them can range from really good to really bad. My favorite map in Push, I'll put it here, I think it's really good up until the last point where it really falls off because it's just nearly impossible for the attackers to get the last objective. And either, like, every Push map will be really good in, like, 2 aspects, but then fail in the 3rd. A lot of them will have nice objectives, nice classes, but the map design will be a bit iffy. Some will have nice objectives and a nice map, but a lot of the classes are a bit iffy. It's kind of annoying. It always has to fall off in one area. And it's a bit annoying how in the Push game mode, only the attackers have tickets. I kind of understand from a gameplay perspective, but I think they just shouldn't at all. I think there should just either be a shorter timer or both sides have tickets, because the defending can constantly throw body after body against the enemy, while the attackers can't really, kind of putting the defenders in a better position because they can group up quicker in the small areas and camp the objective, while the attackers have to wait for their team to respawn because they can't waste tickets throwing themselves at the objective. And again, some of the maps are a bit iffy, especially with the class selection. The fact that certain classes can only have one person playing them is, like, kind of annoying, especially if somebody keeps, like, taking a certain class and they're not doing good with it. And it would be really interesting to see more open and big maps. There are a lot of maps that I think are really fun when it's big. Both sides get a tank and you just have people running down hills and such. The Normandy Beach map is really fun, except for, like, the middle objectives where it's kind of just open space. So again, it's a bit iffy for the attackers because they can't, if they push, the defenders get to hide behind walls and just mow them down. But even despite that, it's just fun. And I've genuinely gotten good at playing the game. Like I said, I think I'm a fairly decent sniper at the game. I would show you footage, but you gotta just trust me, bro. But I just kind of wanted to say that about Pavlov. I think it is a game that thrives in its simplicity, because of that simplicity, it is able to just focus on the fun factor of the game. But that is all I gotta say for it now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, all the shiz. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.